I'm now recording. Welcome everyone to the super easy $1 million compounding information call. So again, I'm going to try to the best of my ability to make this very short and sweet and explain kind of what we're doing and how we do it. I'm going to show you how we use the calculators we're using. Again, nothing is an exact science. They're just kind of here for your general knowledge. So remember that there's no dollars and cents that are going to be precise, but we're going for the main purpose. So kind of like that book, The 7 Highly Successful Habits of, 7 Habits of the Highly Successful People, whatever that title is. The entire book's concept is the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. So don't get too wrapped up with all the details I'm about to go over. Just remember that the main thing is that you're growing at a rapid rate on every trade. That's it. So that's literally the purpose we're kind of going for. So as you guys can see, this is the version that I sent out. It's kind of the Apple version. However, if I click to the sheets, it is the same thing. It's just not nearly as pretty and colorful. So for those of you who are only accessing this on Google, you're going to have access to the same information. It's just not as color coordinated. Just so you know, and you're like, oh no, I can't figure it out. It's the same. It's just not as pretty. So back to the prettier colored version. As you guys know, we have a couple of different tabs that we can work on. We're going to be working off of the per trade compounding sheet. You guys will notice that I want you guys to use half of the balance that you actually have in there. So for example, if you put $200 in there, the objective is to trade this account as if it only has $100 in there. Okay? So what that's going to mean exactly is we have $200 in the account. We're going to put the number 100 in here. You guys can see that this is editable, whatever, however you say that word. We're going to be going for 20% per trade and not more. I mean, if we were starting with a smaller balance and or doing a scalping kind of a challenge, I would say go for more. But since there's so many people of so many different skill levels, and the take profits are going to be a little larger and the stop losses are going to be a little larger, 20 is about the very highest you can go. And if you wanted to be more safe, you could even plug in 15. Okay, this is 100% personal preference. Oopsie, sorry, 15%. There you go. But either way, you guys will notice that in so many trades, you aren't going to want to give yourself enough time for obviously variables such as losing, closing out trades early. But in so many trades, you will have hit 6 figures. You don't have to be 100% accurate. You just have to be mostly accurate. So for the purpose of this worksheet, we are going to go back to 20%. You'll notice that since Pat, Elvis, and I, all three of us are going to be giving signals, I wanted you guys to have kind of a basic foundation in which you can decide how many pips you're going for. So this column right here where it says trades, this is how many pips that you're going for. So if we send out a trade and the take profit is 30 pips or 40 or 50 or 60, for example, this is the lot size you're going to be using, okay, for that trade. But it's very important to stay in this column. So stay in whatever column actually matches your current balance. So as you guys can see, as we go down, each lot size is going to get larger and larger until you are, let's see, with this column figuring about less than 40 trades, I would probably round that up to about 45, even 50, because again, some of them are going to kind of just be cut short and some of them might be losers. So having said that, you're looking at about maybe 50 trades because we are doing this a little bit slower to be safer with this many people. That's kind of the goal we're using. That's the only thing you really need to know about this worksheet is your account balance, the percentage in which you're going, how many pips your take profit is, and the lot size you're going to be using. What you're also going to know is that this entire worksheet is based off of USD pairs only. So as you guys know that the value per pip is different per pair you trade. For example, any USD pair is worth $10 per standard lot you trade. However, Euro GBP is worth like 12 something right now per pip, and then obviously there are some pairs that are worth $6 per pip. And because that's a vast gap in between them, I'm going to highly recommend that you use a trade calculator as well. And if we're on a live call when we take this signal, we're going to go over that live. But in case you have to get the signal from the Telegram channel, I'd like you to be able to know how to use these calculators. There are a few apps and programs that you can install onto your MT4 that will calculate risk for you. So most of them do cost money. This right here will calculate your percentage for you decently accurate. Again, it's mostly based off of specifically USD pairs. So tonight we're going to go over how to use the other two apps that we recommend that are free and easy to find and easy to use. Obviously, one of them you can access on the website too. And that's really about it. You guys will notice that even worst case scenarios, even if we take a hit, it's not going to kill us provided we are kind of growing each time. So for instance, our account balance should be somewhere in and around $120 after that first trade, not by day, but by trade, and so on. So if we did take a hit and we were right here and our account balance is only actually, let's say it's not 430, say it's closer to 400, we need to trade the lot size that is closest to the account balance you see in the line above it. So for example, if my account balance is not yet $340, whoever's unmuted, please mute. There we go. Sorry, I muted them. Okay, so whoever's account balance, for example, if our account balance is not close to 350, or it's not like pretty darn accurate at 358, we need to be trading the account balance that is meant for this lot size, for that account balance, the one above it. In which case, that would mean your account balance, you would be trading this lot size instead of the next one. So I hope that makes sense, because again, this is your first day of trading. This lot size is based off of the account balance above. This lot size is based off of this account size above. This lot size is based off of this account balance above, and so on. So if your account balance is not this high, you cannot afford to risk this lot size. I mean, you can probably on one trade, but you have to be mindful of that. But you can't be in a lot of trades. It's not proper management. That's not how you're going to properly compound. So if your account balance is 207, you need to be doing the next line down, which these are the lot sizes you would be using for the account balance that is in the above line prior to that. So hopefully that's not too confusing for you guys. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, and the worksheet itself is pretty self-explanatory. You guys will notice that at the smaller account size, it takes a long time to get to that first view. I mean, that's the bulk of the trades will take us from 0 to 24,000, well, to 10,000, 24 trades to 10,000. And then it only takes like 15 more to hit six figures. Because as you compound, it's going to get a lot bigger and a lot faster. It just takes a lot longer when you're starting with a smaller account balance. So simple concept, same thing here. It's just a little bit smaller and easier to read. That's it. You would have your slower movers and your faster movers, kind of a different setup in terms of how it works. And that's about it. So I hope that kind of explains that well enough. I will say we are not stacking these trades. We're going to try to keep it as manageable as possible. There are people who have been trading for far longer than myself, and there are people who like literally knew nothing about Forex and they joined the SuperEZ family. So we need to try to accommodate all of them. And that means we're going to have to be very, very specific in how we're doing things. So your management needs to be on point, and bottom line is we have to keep it consistent. So just make sure you're using one lot size, one trade. You're taking one trade. You're more than welcome to skim it. You're more than welcome to keep it running. I will show you that on the charts again, that if it was a sell and it remains below the 8 EMA, you can continue writing that down. If you have time or ability to watch the charts, you can write it out to get more out of the trade. You have the option of closing some of the profit out. You have the option of moving your stop loss up, which I highly recommend. And you also have the option of using a trailing stop, which, yes, might mean it takes you more trades. But like I said, the reality is we're probably looking at a minimum of 10 signals a week, and that's being very conservative. So to get that, I mean, the timing's not always going to be right because you can't be in all of them at the same time. Don't worry about how many trades you're going to get, because you're going to get plenty of trades. It's a matter of being able to be in one, maybe max two if the other one is already in profit at a time. Which brings me to again, like I discussed last night, you can only really be in one trade at a time. Two, if your first one's, it's already the take profit is kind of covered. The stop loss is moved into profit. So I hope that explains that. And real quick, I wanted to go over this calculator. So I'm not sure if it's going to show up on the screen. Yeah, it did. Cool. This is a free app. It's called Stenu. It's STNU. It's an iPhone app and or a iPad app. I'm sure that Android has it too. Silly me. There we go. It will let me do it now. No, I just messed it up probably. There we go. So for example, this will kind of tell you exactly how much you're doing per pair. And you'll notice it's going to be very, very different. So let's say our account balance is $200. Let's say we're risking 20%. Okay. Your stop loss is 30 pips. Okay. Now we would actually have to select the pair. So odd CAD, for example, my lot size would be a point, well, let's go to 30 pips. So my lot size would be a 0.17. The reason why you guys need to know this is because if we do the same exact calculations, 30 pips, 20%, $200 account, with a Euro USD pair, calculate, my lot size would be a 0.13. And so on. So what we're going to do one more time. This time we're going to go to Euro GBP. Our lot size would even be smaller because it's worth more. So every pair is worth a little bit different. So knowing and understanding how to use these calculators is important. It'll help you and it'll save you a whole bunch of time and effort. Because every pair is traded a little different, every margin level is different, every account spreads, and about 1,000 other variables. So this app is pretty self-explanatory. It is free. There's not a whole bunch of annoying ads. You can just plug in your account size, what you're risking per trade, or in this case, what we're going for per trade. That's how we're compounding 20%. Let's say we're going for 30 pips. And we're going on CAD Chef. Okay, it'd be a 0.22. So that's literally almost double the size of a lot size just based off of plugging in a few different pairs. So having this is very, very, very important. As you guys can see, this calculator is very easy to use. It's not overwhelmingly complex. So that's a really good option. It's called STNU. That's STNU. Well, I thought it was STNU, but I guess there's an I in there. So there's that. I'm going to flip this back over, and we're going to go to my FX book. Most of you guys should be using this app, if not for the purpose of tracking your accuracy percentage, and monitoring your actual success, at least for the purpose of a calculator. So this is very simple. It's over here under calculators. Okay, same app you can get a ton of news from and a whole bunch of other information. Similar concept, but a lot more options. Okay, and I don't want to go into the details of every single one of these. So we're going to go to position size. If it will let me, there we go. There we go. So the currency pair, the kind of currency we have in our account is USD, most of us. Some of us are more advanced traders and they do trade based off of a GBP account or, for instance, a Bitcoin account. So what you guys will notice is if I stick with Euro USD and I'm risking 20%, okay, my stop loss, 30 pips, risk by percent, calculate. My lot size would be a 0.07, okay? Oh, I didn't plug in my account size, though, did I? Amount to risk. This one did not. I know there is. I don't use this a whole bunch because I have some of the other options, but fixed amount. Oh, there we go. The balance on the account, let's say 200. Sorry about that. Now I'm proving I don't know everything. 20%. I did that wrong. And now calculate it. So my lot size would be 0.13. So a little bit more complicated, but it gives you the same information. It tells you exactly how much you're risking in dollars. It tells you the positions, and it tells you a whole bunch of information that you use. It even tells you the value. So this bottom line down here, it says pip value per lot. It tells you what that is. So for conversation purposes, we are going to go to some of the super common ones. We're going to go to CAD Chef and calculate. You'll notice that this one is technically worth more than $10 per pip. And if we go to another pair, let's just say Euro NZD, calculate. This one's a very fast mover, but it's worth half as much. If you guys can see down here, that's why your lot size is twice as big, and it's because your pip value per lot is literally almost half as much. So that's pretty much how you use this app. Pretty self-explanatory, not a whole bunch of questions or comments. I mean, should come from that. They do have videos on this on YouTube, and I know they have videos for this on their website, and I believe on Baby Pips. So if you have a whole bunch of questions or you don't understand, please plug into those first, because being able to manage your risk is like a super big deal. So I want to go back to my spreadsheet and then see if anybody has any questions, comments, or things, because again, I want to keep that part really short for anybody who might need to actually learn from that. So I'm gonna, whoever has a question can raise their hand or come on out.
This is Ian.
Hey Ian, how are you?
Great. Just a quick question. I guess this spreadsheet's in the group.
I'm actually going to be dropping a brand new copy tonight. It'll be the same copy.
Okay.
But it is in the group currently. And the reason why I'm doing that is because obviously there's different versions. There's no perfect version. Mine's not any better or worse than somebody else's. But some people don't have access to Apple. Some people don't have access to Microsoft. And some people don't know how to use Google Sheets. So we will try to get a copy of all three of these in the group. But worst case scenario, you will be able to access it from a Google Drive, Google Sheet on your Safari or Chrome or Internet Explorer, which is probably the most way for most people.
All right, great. Thanks very much.
You are welcome. All right, next
Hi,
question.
Jenny. This is Kumar.
Hey, Kumar. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful.
I have a question regarding this spreadsheet. The column H, actual earnings. So this doesn't drive any calculations, or does it?
No.
Okay, it's just for our reference.
Yeah. The only calculation it's going to draw is it'll draw calculations in this. See? For like my weekly, and it'll draw calculations in this. Okay? And what my actual earnings are. It's not going to change the percentage over here, so it's not going to consistently recalculate. No.
Okay.
Because here's the reason why. If it did that, we're going to. So I did have one that was programmed that way in the past, but it just did. I felt like it was very defeating because it changed a whole bunch, and then it would jump you ahead. So on this day, for example, if we did exceptionally good, or you held that trade for an exceptional long time, you should keep that balance and not get super overzealous. Just trade the next line. And the reason why I'm saying that is because on this day down here, it might have been a loss, but instead of your account being at risk, your account wasn't at risk, because you had this super high day. And most of us are going to have at least one or two super high days, probably 3 or 4 even. And if we're willing to protect that in a wise manner, to where we're going to protect the fact that, okay, this day I cleared, and now my account balance is technically here, which can happen. As you guys know, most of you traders know, you can do that in a day without a whole bunch of problems. That's not even like an impossibility or a maybe, baby. That's a real thing. But the concept is you would trade the next day, because this one really strong day is going to protect you from the days where maybe it closed out early because you moved your stop loss up, closed out early because of your trailing stop, or even on days where you took a loss. Because there's no part of me that will say my signals or anybody else's signals are going to be anywhere near 100%. I'm sure they're going to be floating somewhere in and around 90%. I know that my accuracy ratio is in and around 90, usually higher, but I'm trying to lower it for the sake of public. And I know that Pat's signals are typically, they were around 90% too. So, and when he was doing signals, publicly speaking, from what we can verify level. And from what I understand, Elvis's signals are also in around 90%. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah. Definitely. Absolutely. Thanks, Jenny.
Okay, next question. Anybody at all? Because I will seriously cut this part off and then see if you guys have other questions. But I just want you guys to know that yes, you're only going to be in 1 to 2 trades at a time. Yes, your job is to always protect your profit, always move up your stop loss. The hardest part is when we take a big loss somewhere in here. If we take a loss in this area, it's really bad, no matter what, because it's a high risk. And then there's margin levels, and there's just so much wrong. If we're fortunate enough to take our losses early on, then we're good. I mean, there's not a whole bunch that we can do in terms of all that, but that's pretty much all I've got. I think don't skip ahead. So if you do have more in your account, don't skip ahead several lines. Just allow that to be your cushion. And don't be in more than 2 to 3 trades at a time. And if you have less than this account balance, you need to go to the next line up. Always is, because that means your account can't handle that level of a margin. So And we're doing it this way because not everybody is using a 1,000 or 2,000 to 1 leverage broker. For those of you who are using a 2,000 to 1 leverage broker, your account can handle a couple extra trades or a little bit, it can handle a little bit more room. For those of you who are only using a 500 to 1 broker, your account can definitely not withhold it. So let's see.
Jenny.
All right. Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. I have a question. So we won't be stacking no trades. So if we get a signal and we'll take that signal one trade at a time, not stacking one trade 5 or 6 times.
That it's too much to manage for most people.
Right. Okay. And the daily growth percentage is always 20%.
Yeah. So wait, that's a really good question. Thank you for asking. And for those of you who can't afford, and this is not a pun, I promise. If you know in yourself that you cannot afford to blow $100 account several times, please don't do this challenge. And I say that with every ounce of my heart, and please just don't, because I want you guys to know, again, this is not regular risk management trading. This is, I'm okay with blowing my account to get to 6 figures challenge, okay? I mean, when you put it in perspective like that, that's what we're doing, is we're saying we're willing to risk it all to go for the gold. And if we risk it all a couple of times, I'm okay with that. So for those of you who know in yourself you can't afford to blow a $100 account, my suggestion to you is to take the same lovely worksheet. You can plug 5% in here, and you can just compound slowly. It's not going to be super appealing numbers, as you guys can see. It's not beautiful, but it's still growth. And then, God forbid, you took out $1,000, paid off some bills, and now you have a few $100s that you can afford to blow. I mean, that's not a bad thing, but if you can't afford to blow the account, stick to less than 5, at the very, very most 10%. If you can afford to blow the account a couple of times, you can go 20%. And until we've had some success as a group and we see how we operate as one, I'd like you not to go greater than 20%.
Hey Jenny, this is Derek.
Hey, Derek.
I just want to thank you for showing me how to use the calculator. I've looked at so many and I felt like an idiot, and you made this look so simple. I was just like, manna from heaven. So I just want to thank you, and I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. That put a smile on my face. Thank you.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Dwayne. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm just curious. Maybe I hope I'm not late. I've been busy for the last couple of weeks, but how will we be able to get into? I know we're part of SuperEZ and all that, but are we just going to be able to log in like we did tonight to trade with y'all, or are y'all sending out signals? I heard you say something about that.
So did you miss Pat's announcement call yesterday morning?
I got some of it. Maybe I missed something.
Okay, so to sum it up, he is in the process of updating the website. There is going to be a private signals group for those of you who cannot jump on the line. There's going to be several live calls with myself and with Pat and with Elvis that are going to be live trading, so taking actual signals, and of course we're going to be dropping signals. We can't make a reliable claim to say, hey, we're each going to give 5. You know, I'm assuming, if I'm being super open, you definitely get a few a week, and I'd say you might even get too many a week is my concern. My guesstimate would be somewhere in between 5 and 20 trades in that group. The accuracy between the 3 of us, I'm going with 90%, because that would apply to all of us versus just one. And how you get access to that is starting on Sunday. I don't know when Pat's going to have it done, but Sunday is September 1st. So the website, when you log into your superez.com website or superezforex.com website, you're going to log in like you normally would, and there's a step 5 on that website. And when you go to step 5, you'll be able to enroll. You'll get access to the Telegram channel, this really awesome tool he built, including daily dots and alerts, more advanced levels of trading, and the Telegram group. So.
Okay, cool. I understand more now.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your question.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jenny, Catherine.
Hey, Catherine, how are you?
Hi. I think nobody has asked this question. Let me be the stupid one. Okay, for example, the sheet looks easy to read and all, but when you start trading and people's emotions get high, I'm pretty sure the girls have a bunch of messages sending to you. So line by line we go. My question probably for the rest of the people here is, how do you decide? For example, your first line is that your daily profit goal is $20, and then your target balance is 120. If that goal is not hit, do you stay on that line?
Yes. So that's something that I really need you guys to understand. So it's a little harder. Sorry about this. There we go. Okay, my tablet turned off. So if my account balance, ready? Here, let's just play with this a little bit. So let's say I made $121. So that's my actual, or whatever. So 121. That's gonna mess me up. Yep, it is. So let's say a little differently. So my actual earnings that day is 21. My next day, let's say I made 35, I did really well. The next day, on this day, I only made 12, okay? That would make my actual account balance, if you can see, smaller than this line. Can you see that? So my account balance is 168, and this line is telling me I should be at 172, right? Do you see that? So my actual balance is 168. And my target balance should be 172. I cannot go on to this lot size if my account balance is not at least that large. And that's for margin percentage. We're already going to be risking a lot. So if you're going to trade bigger lot sizes than your account can hold, you're definitely going to blow your account. Not a maybe, but 100%. So your account balance needs right here needs to be greater than that number. If it is not greater than the line above it, don't move on to the next day's lot sizes. You have to stay on that line's lot sizes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know how to read, but I just want to make sure that everybody else knows what to look at. That's why I'm asking this question.
Oh no, thank you. I super appreciate you, definitely. I mean, I want everybody to truly understand that. So if your account balance is not greater, that's a good way of putting it. If it's not greater than the line above it, so greater than your target balance, what we're saying is your account cannot withhold this next level of lot sizes. You have to stay on that line and trade some more, which just means you're gonna get a little ahead. So in the event this happened, here's what I would do. That day I'm gonna be taking 0.10 lot sizes, or that trade, however it works out. And now I'm gonna be able to say, well, that day I ended up with, let's just say $43 in total, 12 plus whatever I made. Well, now my balance right here is greater than this, so I am free to go on to the next lot size.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you for asking that. I really hope everyone can do that.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, hey, Deja, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Fantastic.
Okay. Now I have a quick question. I've been getting I guess a lot in the PMs, but my question would be if we don't want access to the indicators and just the challenge, is there still a monthly fee associated with just the challenge?
Yeah, I've gotten, I think, well over 100 of those messages. And I'm going to be as politically correct and as brief as possible. Here's the deal. Let's see. Hold on. So right now, that's kind of the plan is I'm going to stick with SuperEZ, and I think it'll be good. And I know that a lot of people were a little bit shocked about a monthly membership fee, but here's the deal. I understand a little bit more about business. There's a lot that goes into running it. Doesn't seem like much, but there's hundreds of dollars for this service, $100 for that, managing this. I mean, even Zoom, I just upgraded it again, so that's like $200 a month. And that's just me, and I'm not even I don't even own the SuperEZ company, so that's just as an individual person. So I get that. But here's the deal. I do know that Pat donates a good portion, a very healthy percentage of everything he earns. And I know that this will weed out people who cannot afford to blow accounts. So if they can't afford to blow a $100 account, it'll weed a lot of those out. And that hopefully comes across in the right light. But we definitely don't want to create a name for ourselves that is bad. Like, and I'm being 1,000% transparent with you when I say there's a very high probability we will blow an account. Now I'm praying that you guys withdraw 20 grand first before we blow the first one. I'm praying that we withdraw 6 figures first before you blow the first one. But just so you know, this is high risk. This is not regular trading. And because we want this to be a different level of trading, he needs to be able to separate the newbies and the people who don't even know like how to calculate a pip, or they don't. I've worked with a couple different people this week in some of my private coachings, and some of them don't even know like the basics in terms of like switching out a chart on MT4. And then that's with 1,000% openness and honesty in mind that it's important that if this company is going to continue to grow and see its vision through, that we can separate the people who are more advanced and or at least if they don't have the skill set yet, they at least have the financial ability to be able to afford to blow an account a couple of times. And that kind of weeds that out. So that is something. That's all I've got, though. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's what I wanted to make sure, because I actually, before jumping on this recording, I had to watch it because, like I said, I was in so many private messages just saying, hey, you know, this and that. And I was like, I'm not sure. I'll jump on tonight and then I'll find out.
All right, awesome. So yes, I mean, if I do consider something like that in the future, don't worry. I will, discuss it with Pat, and I will honor that, and I will let you guys know. The benefit of doing a copier service, which, guys, I am computer able, but I'm not like a computer guru. So I barely know like how to edit a video. I don't know that. If I'm willing to try to learn how to figure out a copier service, the purpose of that wouldn't be to separate from SuperEZ. The purpose of that would be able to do that with SuperEZ, because I know that I'm a beast at managing. So even worst case scenario, even if I took a bad trade, I manage my trades well. I am not an expert trader, but the only reason why my accuracy is so high is because I almost always move my stop into profit, which weeds out a lot of those ones that turned around for other people and I still got a few pips, which technically means my accuracy rate is very high. I mean, it's all in the numbers. The purpose and the benefit of a copier service for everyone who's asked me is not to necessarily separate or to go in a different direction. The only benefit of a copier service is the fact that I would be managing the trades with my very expensive trade managers and tools, because like I said, I have many. I have very, very, very many EAs. I've got bots that stack like $1 million products. I mean, they're pretty amazing, very dangerous. Definitely wouldn't play with that on a copier account, but some of them are highly amazing tools and highly high risk. So that would be the benefit of doing the copier service. So Derek, I can explain that, but not tonight. I want to kind of keep the focus on this. The copier service would mean like I wouldn't have access to your guys' accounts, but you guys, whatever I did in my account would mirror into your account. It's a very common thing. I don't necessarily love it. I kind of hate it. Actually, somebody in the group recently did it and messed up a whole bunch. A lot of personal ownership, and that's not fun. So I think it'd be life-changing if I decided to do that. I don't know right now, though. Okay, next question.
Miss Jenny, I didn't want to get ahead. I just had this last thing to say because I think it was very important. Because I was involved with something a while ago, and a lot of people wasn't prepared because some people was on Hugo's way 1 to 500 versus Trader's way 1 to 1,000. Can you hit on that for a second?
Guys, that's a big deal. So I've said before that I've been with several groups have done similar things. Most of them have hit pretty decent numbers. There are some groups that didn't, and that's realistic, and some people can't handle the pressure, and I can't promise that I can either. I can promise I'm going to give you my best. I'm going to stick with it to the end of the year at least and go from there. So having said that, you guys, if your account isn't set up the way your account needs to be set up, that is not going to be my fault, Pat's fault, or Elvis's fault. This is high-risk trading. This is not your everyday trading. So for instance, if I plugged what we would do in other groups, I would do 33%. So a couple of the clients that I've worked with one-on-one, we were doing 10 pip strategies based off of 33%. Okay, and that's a lot. Just so you have an idea, 10 pips is watch this lot size. I'll show you. 10 pips. Okay, lot size, that's a 0.33 on a $100 account. Just to give you guys an idea. Now, a 2,000 to 1 broker can handle that lot size. Okay, a 2,000 to 1 broker can handle that lot size, but a 500 to 1 broker cannot. You will blow your account the second it goes a pip against you, because you have spreads, fees, commissions, and so many other variables. So if you don't know what your leverage is and you're not prepared for that, you need to make sure you're messaging me or maybe stepping up and asking questions. Yes, you can do this on a 500 to 1 account. However, you're going to need to start with twice the balance. So while some of us who use AFX are starting with a $100, a $200 account, trading it as if it is a $100 account. Why do I keep doing that? I know better. There we go. We're going to trade a $200 account as if it's a $100 account if we're using AFX. If you're going to use Hugo's way, you need to be able to trade a $400 account as if it's a $200 account. And that's still only going to help pretty much carry you through this first portion. By this time, it's void anyways. So, but I hope that answers your question. You have to know your leverage. You have to understand your risk. So if your account margin level gets below like 300%, 400%, you need to be mindful and be babysitting that trade. Donna, I don't know that yet. There's too many variables. I don't know that. I don't know if we're going to be holding trades into London. I don't know that, and the reason why is because Elvis is going to try to give signals at night. I know Pat and I are going to be just looking for a few quality setups. The way I would do it is I would do it a little bit slower, but super safe. The problem with that is when you have an 80 pip stop loss, you can't have a 20% goal. Too big of a stop loss. So I would love to give you guys 4-hour signals, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go with the hour probably. I haven't quite decided because we're trying to hit all sides between Elvis, me, and Pat. Oh, sorry, Elvis, Pat, and myself. So if you're going to bed at night, make sure you move your stop loss up. If just so you guys know, always protect your pips. Even if you're only a couple pips, I promise you, you will have another trading opportunity. But don't be the one who didn't protect their trade and then was the one fussing about it. So you are welcome. The pip amounts on the spreadsheet going to be fixed or variable? I don't understand what you mean. I don't want to mispronounce your name, but like I said, they're variable. If I do understand you correctly, based off of what pair you're trading. If you wanted to keep it like super simple, you can literally just use this all the way down. But just be mindful to know that, hey, when your account isn't exactly this balanced, it's because some pairs are worth more or less than others. So you can technically use this, but just plan on it taking you a few extra trades. Which reminds me, a gentleman asked a question. Let me see if I can go back to it. What is his name? Somebody asked a good question. I'm looking for it. So if we're getting 10 to 20 trades a week, are we still only trading one trade for that week to meet our target goal? Andrew, to answer your question, you're going to be trading one at the most 2 pairs at a time. So for instance, if you're in one pair, and let's say you took my signal and Elvis calls out a signal, you can't go take 3 or 4 signals. So if we found 2 trades on my call, but then Pat has a call the next day and those 2 haven't closed out, you have to decide in your own mind what you're going to do. So you're going to either close them out in profit, okay, apply an extremely close trailing stop to kind of maximize how much you get out of it. You're going to be able to decide to take Elvis's or decide that, hey, wait a minute, when I analyze this Euro GBP pair, I still believe that this is going to be a long-term situation, so I'm going to hold this one and I'm going to skip the next one. Because your account can only withhold so many of these trades at a time. Truthfully, I think even Hugo's way can handle up to 3, but I don't want you guys mismanaging and then blowing an account, so we're going to say 2. So I hope that answers your question. Somebody have their hand up? Who's this?
Yeah, this is Zane. And when you say 20 and trades, is that what you mean? Is every single day are you going to send 20 trades?
Oh dear Lord, no. No.
This is me.
Yeah, no. I'm thinking that let's just say anywhere from 5 to 20 trades a week. I don't know or understand much about Elvis's strategy, but I do know he uses a very tiny time frame, in which case he trades many pairs, or he trades a lot basically at one time. Whereas like Pat and I will find a signal and we typically hold it. So I would just hold that position, or I just look for another one that evening or that morning. So because of the different trading styles, I'm guessing if I can commit to 2 to 5 trades a week, and in some weeks, like I don't play a whole bunch during NFP week. Like I just don't trade a whole bunch that week. I take some time off. I go to the beach, or I used to go to the mountains and just do me. So I'm guessing anywhere from 5 to 20 trades. I can't commit to that. Pat won't commit to that, and there's a lot of reasons why. I know that Elvis has a higher quantity of trade than what Pat and I do. So I know that Pat and I have more long-term. So Pat's trade might be a very long-term trade, in which case you can decide to ride it out until its first pullback. And you can even decide to get back in when there's no signals being given. So like this is still 100% up to you to be able to manage your account. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. Marguerite, just so you know, you can still get the signals on the other tools. So you'll be able to get the signals even if you're not on the calls. So you'll still be able to access like Pat's or whatever. Just so you know. And yes, next week is NFP, which that's what I was just saying. I don't play a lot during NFP. So some people, and my understanding is Elvis does great on the news. I don't play with it. And for the person who said don't compare my progress, exactly, like I don't want you guys to have certain expectations or anything of that sort. I want you guys to be able to realize that you have to manage these trades. And that's trading, to me, is 80% of the time of analyzing and growing, and then you have your managing and like 5% actively looking for a trade and taking a trade. So managing is where it's at.
Hey, Jeannie.
Yes.
On the signals thing, would it be through Telegram? Because I know sometimes Telegram doesn't alert me. I don't know if anybody else has had that problem, but are the signals channels going to be on Telegram still?
My understanding to that is yes, and we can kind of look at your settings on your app. All the notifications turned on your settings on your phone?
Yeah. It's just, I don't know why it just stopped all of a sudden. I don't get alerts. So I don't know. And I know somebody else told me they didn't get it. So I don't know. Maybe it's my phone.
Wait a minute. Is that channel muted?
No, it's not muted. It's the SuperEZ notification channel, and it was coming through fine. And then one day it just stopped and I can't get it to work. I uploaded, deleted, brought it back up. I don't know. So I was just wondering, that's all.
You can take a screenshot of your and you're sure it's not muted?
No, it's not muted. I screenshot. It's not muted. I have the main channel muted, but not that one.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I can maybe help you work through that. But take a screenshot of like all your Telegram channels. Make sure that one's not muted, and then take a screenshot that it is not muted. And worst case scenario, leave the group and re-enter. And if that still doesn't work, then just let me know and we can kind of go from there.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome.
I have a spreadsheet question, Jenny, if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
If you have your account balance at 200 and it goes through the calculation, it's based off of a 1,000%, 1,000 to 1 ratio, right? As far as the daily profit, 1,000 to 1.
You mean your leverage?
Your leverage, yes.
So I'm sorry, can you rephrase your question, because I want to answer you accurately.
Okay, sure. The leverage that the calculation is based off of is 1,000 to 1, or does it change based off of our beginning balance?
No, ready? So this account, ready?
So if you have
1% growth you can do 1% growth even in a Wanda. Okay. But well, that's too small an account. So here.
No, but if we keep it at 20% growth and the beginning balance is 200, now our daily goals will be 40, correct? And beginning balance would be 200.
First off, I said what we're going to do is we're going to take $200 and trade the account as if it only has 100 in it. Okay.
Okay.
So there's that, and then like this worksheet has nothing to do with what your leverage is. So I can plug in 90% right here, and no broker is going to hold that. I mean, well, maybe. I guess, yeah, because AAFX would hold that trade size.
Okay.
But you have to know that. So I can plug in 5%, and all the brokers will hold that. So it has a. I don't really understand your question.
Okay. No, I think you're there. You're almost there. So the 20% and the 100% is our balance and our risk at this point in time. Now our daily profit goal is based off of 1,000 to 1 leverage, correct? Or is it based off of 2,000 to 1 leverage? Because if you had a 2,000 to 1 leverage account, the daily goal for the pips that we're getting, I'm thinking it will be double. It will be $40 versus $20 on a 2,000 to 1 leverage account versus a 1,000 to 1 leverage account. Or maybe I'm just not understanding the...
Jenny, can I ask that question in another way, if you don't mind?
Yes, please. Go ahead, Catherine.
Okay, I think what he's trying to ask is, based on this spreadsheet, right? The lot size that is displayed here, can we assume that is good for 1:2,000, and therefore if I have my leverage as 1:500, I divided it by 4. Is that how it works? I think maybe that's what he's asking.
Right. I'm just basically asking if we're going to do one trade, you know, for 20%, and our goal is 30 pips, and the money that we will make from that is $20 off of one trade. If we were in a 2,000 to 1, that would be basically twice that.
No. Okay, so no, that's your leverage is only going to allow you to take either a larger lot size or more trades at one time. So it's not going to change. Yeah, it's not going to change the value you get per amount. It's not going to change anything but how big your lot size can be and how many trades you can take.
Correct. Okay.
How much you can
your
risk.
leverage is your safety nets per se.
Okay, I got you. I was thinking that I had to double since I was at least 2,000 to 1, which is twice as much as the 1,000 to 1 leverage, that the daily goal would probably be double. Okay.
No.
I see. Okay, sorry for the misunderstanding there. But
no, you're okay. Thank you. Thank you for stepping up and asking those questions.
Okay.
But Jenny, I think I want to continue with that question. I think that's a good question. And can we have some clarification for those people who you just rightly said they don't have 1:2,000, and then looking at this spreadsheet, you know how you try to be safe and said you have $200, but you put in $100 and look at the lot size. So likewise, for those people who doesn't have 1:2,000, and let's say the leverage is 1:500, do they then reduce the lot size in this spreadsheet?
No. So, and I went over there. I went over that earlier. If you guys are using Hugo's way, you guys can only definitely take one trade at a time. There's a very mild chance that your account will hold more than that, but obviously it depends on pairs and pips and other variables. So like if you're using Hugo's way, your account balance should be twice as high to keep the same amount of percentage. If you're using Hugo's way, you are only doing, and you know, let's say we're going for more pips, because I believe that most of the trades Elvis calls out is for 60 pips, although I don't know how many of them actually hit 60 pips. Same thing with mine. My trades are well managed, so we will definitely get pips out of mine. but the odds are we're not going to get like the exact amount. So this one will close early because of a trailing stop, or this one will close early, and so on. So we'll just keep trading. And then you can take more signals and more trades or whatever, but it's really safe for you. So your account size is going to be, just don't go over 20%. So you don't have to change your lot size, okay? I would maybe definitely stick to more the little or the conservative trades. I would stick to the kind of little or conservative versus the very aggressive ones. I mean, in Hugo's way. But there's not a lot you can do, because if you're going to stay, again, Hugo's Way, guys, is my favorite broker. But if you're going to stay with Hugo's Way for the purpose of this challenge, great. Just know how to trade it mindfully. I mean, that's really all you can do. You're going to have double the amount of money in there and still be trading it as less than the value, like to half of whatever you have in there. And you're going to be going for 20%. It's just you can't hold as much. You can't hold as many trades, period. Landon, you have a question? Hey, Landon, how are you?
I'm good. I'm using Hugo's Way. Could I just do 10% and just make it simple on myself?
Oh yeah, yes, you can.
Okay, appreciate it.
You can, but just be mindful. So this is what that's going to look like, and don't get discouraged. Why do I keep doing that? I know better. Hold on. I don't usually do this. Like, wow. I still can't get it right. Let's see. 10%. There we go. Don't be discouraged when you see this, okay? Many people have never withdrawn 30,000. 60 pips could happen really quickly. It might just take us a few weeks. It might take us a couple months. Like, I don't know how this is all going to play out. I don't know how the atmosphere of the group is going to be, but it might just work out to where my signals kind of close right around the time Elvis has come out, to where Pat gives you that perfect swing signal right on the day that I was busy and I wasn't giving out signals. So it might work out like super well for some weeks. Some weeks, maybe not so much. So don't be discouraged if all you see is 30,000. If we're being honest, most of you guys have never, there are a few people who have made, multiple six figures in a month from trading, off of $1,000 account. There are some people even on this call right now who have done so, but most of them have not. So don't be discouraged if that's all you see. If you're going to stick with Hugo's Way, great. Maybe use a slightly higher account balance. And for Hugo's Way, you can afford 15%. Just so you know. You can actually afford more. I just don't want you guys accidentally blowing your account.
Right.
That's all. I'm glad, Sandra. I'm glad. All right, any other questions, comments, or anything in terms of the compounding aspect specifically? Calculators and compounding.
Jenny?
Yes, ma'am. How's it going?
I'm well, thank you. Total pips per day. Is that a significant cell that we should be using as well? On line 3.
No.
Okay.
Well, the way that this was set up was based off of stacking and taking multiple positions, so leave those as well. Leave those alone.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I had to think about that. I was like, I've heard that, but I don't remember how long ago. All right, any other questions in terms of the calculators or compounding specifically?
Yeah, Jenny, I have a question.
Hey, Elliot, go ahead.
When you add in the actual earnings, the yellow column, does it calculate your balance in another column that I'm not seeing?
Right up here at the top.
Oh, okay, great. The other question I have is, so let's say with the different pip amounts, do you ever change those? In other words, if you say, hey, I have a trade and we're going for 50 pips, so then you use the 50 pip column, and then the next signal is, oh, we're only going to go for 30 pips on this, so you use the 30 pip column, or do you just pick one?
You can, but you should stay in your lane. So like if this trade you're taking, this next trade is silly right there, okay? But the next day it's a 60 pip signal, you take this one. Let's say the next day it's a 50 pip signal, you take this one. The next day you take this one. As long as your percentage of risk, which again, this is 20%, think of it in terms of the rows, not just the columns. So this whole row, any of these lot sizes based off of those take profits, are still 20% or 15% in this case, right?
Yes. Okay, I got it. Thanks.
You are welcome. Anybody else now in terms of, hey.
Hello.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Wonderful. How can I help you?
Okay, so for the compound sheet, I've been trying to save it. Like if I edit it, how do I save what I just edit?
What device are you on?
PC.
Are you using it in Microsoft Word or on the Google Docs, like the Google Spread?
Actually, it's on the Google spread.
You might have to like save a copy of that to yourself.
Okay, and send it.
So
yeah, I guess I'll figure it out. No worries.
I can help.
Antoinette said that she can help.
Yeah, so when you open it, you're going to select make a copy.
Okay.
And it automatically make a copy, and the file will even say copy. Like it will say copy SuperEZ. And then what you will do is just then change the name of the file if you want to, but then you'll be able to do the editing in the new file.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, and thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Also, I wanted to add something. I wanted to say something real quick, right? If that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so basically for everybody who's asking all the question, for some of us, the reason why we're following this challenge is because we're having a hard time growing our own account. So that means the main thing to do is to copy the leader. So just, try your best to do everything that the leaders do. So if they have a new account, I mean, you're free to open up your own account, but if you could get yourself a new account as well, that would be a good, maybe better for you,
Yes,
like
definitely.
because like if you can grow your own account, just go ahead and do it yourself. But if you having trouble, then just try to follow every step of the way and everything, so that way you don't create some problems for yourself.
That's good advice. That was wise. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions or comments in terms of calculating and compounding? Well, that's a lot of questions.
Jenny.
Hey, who's this?
This is DJ.
Hey, DJ.
Hey, so say you wanted to do a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. So if I wanted to do that, I mean, would you even suggest doing that during this challenge, or just stick it to 1-to-1 ratio?
So that's the rock and the hard spot, honestly, DJ. Like mentally and emotionally, I'm between a rock and a hard spot, because if I were doing this challenge with me with a swing trade mentality and it was just about me, so maybe 100% like transparent and raw with you, I would be taking trades that are 2-to-1 at least, right? So that's strategic after all, because that one loss is not going to be outweighed, right? I mean, so if it was just me and wasn't about anybody else, I would look for the longer term swing trade that has a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. Personally, but you guys have to realize that those 4-hour trades, the perfect setup comes 1 to 3 times a week at the most, right? Well, I'm talking ones that we actually catch are 1 to 3 times a week. And people have to hold that trade and manage that trade. And that's, I think the emotional ability and stability of a lot of people trading is like they take this trade, but then they check it 1,000 times. They're like super excited, but then super stressed, and super nervous, but then super happy. And oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So if it was me and I'm talking to just DJ, I would say be picky and go for the 2-to-1s because you're managing you.
Okay. To add to that, so if you do go for a 2-to-1, should a 20% be based off your stop loss or off the target profit? So for example, if I got a 20 pip stop loss and I'm going for 40 pips, if I lose the trade, then that 20 pip stop loss hit, that should be 20% of my account. Or should the 40 pips that I go for, should that be 20% of my account that I gain? Or should that actually be 40% of my account?
I love the way you rationalize. It makes me laugh. It reminds me of one of my brothers, actually. But anyways, so this percentage, the compounding on this percentage is based off of your target, not your stop loss. So you have to figure out your stop loss on your own. As you notice, that's separate on the side here. Well, you guys can't see it because my tablet turned off again. Here we go. I'll grab up my little stylus again. So this right here is telling you your stop loss. So if your stop loss, what was the example you used? Your take profit is 40 pips, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's your lot size. And let's say your stop loss was only 20 pips. Technically, you could do this much if you wanted a 20% risk, right? 20%, why did that not work? $100 account.
I think you shouldn't give the percentage there.
I'm sorry?
I guess there was no percentage in initially. You gave the percentage sign there. That's the reason, maybe.
Oh, you're right. There we go. So this would be your stop loss. Thank you. If you had a 20% risk based off of a 20 pip stop loss, that's your lot size. But this worksheet is based off of your 15% per trade you're going for in your take profit, not your risk.
Got it. So basically, in a nutshell, no matter if I do go for a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, when my trade closes, I need to increase it by whatever the compound percentage I have in my worksheet.
Yeah, see this, it's going on. This is what your target, this is based off your take profit, not your stop loss. Yes.
Got you. All right, thanks, Jenny. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So whoever asked, most brokers hold funds for an exorbitant amount of time when you get anywhere around 6 figures. The only broker I've ever had that, sorry, let me wait for that to get done. The only broker I've ever had that did not hold a 6-figure or even a 5-figure withdrawal was AAFX. So everyone's on there, the message is tripping and saying, oh my gosh, they have bad reviews. And all I'm thinking is, well, I work with some really good companies that have really great reviews, but the one thing that matters most, which is when I want my money, give me my money, they really suck in that department. So that's why I can't promise you any one broker is great or not great. I can just tell you that I like AAFX because they have high leverage, no swaps, and they actually withdraw when they say they're going to withdraw. Yeah, you've got to message them real quick, but in most cases, it's almost instant. It's almost instant. There's no drama there. I mean, it doesn't mean that you may or may not have problems with them or somebody else may or not have had problems with them. I can just say for me, I've been trading with AFX for a while and the withdrawal is within 3 days. How do you withdraw from AFX with Bitcoin? Catherine, are you there? Well, if you withdraw in Bitcoin, it's instant. And they did have Skrill, which I understand they don't currently have. I don't know if they're ever going to bring it back or not. I can't promise that. And I know that for some people, depending on where you live, you may have access to withdraw it straight to your debit account. I believe in the US that is not currently allowed, at least not for me, it's allowed. So that's awesome that you can. I cannot. I have to withdraw mine in Bitcoin. But for me, it's instant.
I really like it so far. It's been like, for me, it's as good as instant. It's approved quite quickly, and then I see it in my bank 3 days later.
But you don't live in America, right?
No, I don't. I'm in Singapore.
So yeah, that's why. And guys, just because one person says, hey, this is what they do, I promise I'm right, it's not about them being wrong, but some of us live in different areas, so some of us don't have access to the same things. And some of us may have gotten started at different points where they still offered certain things that they no longer offer, or now they're starting, et cetera, so forth. So just be mindful of that, that's all. But that's awesome. I wish I could withdraw to my debit card. I cannot.
Yeah, I like it. I really like it. So I have got no complaints so far. I've been using them for close to 3 months now.
Yeah, are the fees pretty decent with your debit card or no?
Yeah, I've got no charges. It's just a breeze. Whatever I deposit, I get back those money, and in fact, I withdraw every day.
Wait a minute, are you using Skrill and your debit card?
No, it's direct. My debit card. There's no Skrill, so there's no charges at all. It's really cool.
Wow, that's awesome for you. I wish I could do that.
Yeah, my deposit, there's no charge. My withdrawal, there's no charge. So whatever I deposit, I get back exactly almost, I mean, exchange rate, but otherwise, it's cool, really cool.
That's awesome. Well, again, so she's had a pretty good experience. I like them, but let me tell you, I do have a charge. I have to pay Bitcoin fees. And that's not fun, so.
Yeah, that's why I chose debit card, because there's no charges.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know, Quan, that's awesome. Hey guys, I don't want to let this go on and on too long. So any other important questions about calculating, compounding, or things of that nature? Anything at all?
Yes, can you hear me?
Hey, Michael.
Hey, how you doing? How do I get this spreadsheet?
I'm going to post it again, and I'm going to ask one of my friends to convert this into a Microsoft Edition. There's already a Google Drive one floating around, but there's 3 versions for the 3 of us who use it 3 different ways, which is Apple, Windows, and Google. So pick which one works best for you, and then you can make a copy of it and do whatever you need, okay?
All right, thank you.
You are
Okay.
welcome.
Hi, can I add something real quick? I know you gotta go, but I hear a lot of hi.
Go
Hello?
ahead, I'm listening. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I hear a lot of fear of losing, and I fight with this before, and I guarantee you, if you're afraid of losing money in this market, you're gonna lose your money, because you're gonna lose some money, and then you're gonna see your setup, and then you're gonna think, should I enter or should I not, and it is gonna go your direction. So if you are whether you are nice to the market or not, whether you do all the calculation in the world or not, you're still gonna lose. So just when you see your entry, just take it. If you see your entry, just take it and try it for a month. Otherwise, you're gonna try to change your strategy every other day.
Oh, yeah, people, I think that's the reason why most people lose. Is
Correct.
most people have never traded one way for 1 month. Most people just haven't.
If you're afraid of losing your money, that's the best way of losing it. So you're gonna lose your money if you're afraid of losing it.
That's a good point, Jeff. I super agree.
Yeah.
Hey guys, on that note, I will say I'm really big on God. I'm a God's girl by all means. However, I'm super big on that whole concept of the law of attraction. And I say that to say this. So when you have, I mean, the Bible says when 2 or more come together for the purpose of good, that your prayers will most assuredly be answered. Law of attraction says when a whole bunch of us are thinking positive thoughts and doing positive things, that whole kind of prosper where you're planted, speak it into life, speak it into existence. Don't speak death. Don't be saying, I don't want to lose. Just be saying, I'm excited to win. Even on bad days where we didn't find a trade, or a trade maybe went and kind of got wicked out, and hopefully we got a little bit of profit, but we missed the big move. So no matter what happens, our job collectively as a unit, I mean, I don't know how many people, figure 100, some odd people will sign up immediately, and a few hundred others will trickle in. Either way, collectively as a group, our job is going to be able to speak life and think life and feel life into this. And I probably sounds a little yuppie, but I'm just being me for a minute. I listen to all those YouTubes and preachers and have all the books and all the stuff. The reality is we're going to have to prosper where we're planted. We're going to have to speak into existence positive things, because we have to kind of outweigh the balance, because of course we already have emotions, we already have debt, we go to bed with fear and worries and bills, and a son who we really want to take care of, and a mom we promised we were going to support and maybe haven't gotten there yet. We all have these burdens every day. So if enough of us collectively as one can speak life into wins and speak life into you know, praying for discernment and praying for, you know, positive decisions and positive choices and wise, you know, analysis. If enough of us can say, you know what, things are always working out, you know what, you know, we're blessed because of this, and we just consistently speaking life into this, there's no way that we will not be successful. But I will also say, if enough of us are bringing down that vibration, and yes, I'm going to use that word, if enough of us are bringing down that negativity with the, and it's not your fault, but it's a lot of pressure. If enough of us are being negative and whining and complaining, or I thought, but you promised that this is never going to work, or I thought I'd make it, and having all those negative mindsets, that's putting energy into the atmosphere, energy into the universe. And, you know, Jesus hears our heart, and I've just, my little sermon for the night. So let's make sure we're controlling our thoughts and feelings, everyone, okay?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Jenny?
You're gonna laugh at me, I'm sure.
Jenny?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Mac, how's it going?
Yeah, it's actually Mike. It's Mike Keating from the UK. Yeah.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I really believe what you're saying there, Jenny. I think I heard someone say one day that your words become your flesh. And if your words are negative, that's what you'll get. If you're positive all the time and keep pushing forward and keep going onward, you can achieve anything that you want to set your goals at. And just be smart, which is specific, measured, achievable, realistic, and timed. And this spreadsheet is a smart spreadsheet. So I'd like to thank you for your time and all your input, and for giving up all your spare time for helping us out. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I super appreciate you very much. All right, guys. Well, that's about it for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to kind of click through the charts. And as of September, we're officially after Labor Day. It is NFP week. However, this is what I do. I literally have a comp book. I write down everything that's setting up. I make my watch list for the week. And we're going to do that live next Tuesday night. Don't know how much it's going to be setting up, because I'm sure the markets are going to be all willy-nilly with NFP, but we're going to do it. And starting Tuesday morning, we're going to be going live and kind of looking for trades. You guys can feel welcome to jump on. If you have access to your computer, do so from your computer, so we can maybe collaborate and take a look at what everyone's looking at. So if I'm the one who has the ability to say, hey, I'm looking at Euro GBP, it's finished this whole buy process throughout the week, and I'm really thinking it's ready, you know, we can all look at this together and say, okay, how many confirmations do we have? And somebody can pick the songs and be in charge of the music, and just kind of hang out, drink some coffee, although I'm thinking about giving up coffee for a while. We'll see about that. I'll let you know. And kind of go from there. So exciting things are happening. I can't wait to see you guys on there. And thank you, everyone, for jumping on tonight.
Thank you, Jenny. Have a wonderful
Thank you, Jenny.
Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate your time.
God bless, Jenny.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great dreams, everyone.
Bye.
Night.
you.